Welcome to Conversations from Stritch. Today is Thursday, March 26th. I'm Dr. David Livingston, president of Lewis University, and I'm joined by Dr. Christopher Sant, our provost and president-elect. It is a typical spring day here in Romeoville, which means it started about 70 degrees, and we should get hail this afternoon, and by tomorrow it should be about 40. So that is a typical day here in Romeoville, and we're glad to have spring here. We just came off of spring break, so we've had really this weather up and down all throughout spring break, 70s and snow. We're really glad that the students are back. It's a busy time of year for many members of the community during the spring break. A lot of traveling, a lot of seeing family, but also a lot of athletic competitions and some things that are going on departmentally. But I hope that everybody had a little bit of a respite from the busyness, because we need to be replenished and energized to begin this next 8 week, which is the final 8 weeks. And I think often the hardest 8 weeks for the campus, because everybody's gone through the whole year. And now we're at that point where we really have to push hard and we're tired. One thing is for sure, it has been busy on campus, continues to be busy on campus. On Tuesday, Lewis hosted the 4th annual Brother Rapp lecture series. Brother Bernard Rapp, former chemistry professor, and here you see Dr. Jason Kelleher, who is head of our Department of Chemistry and gave the lecture this year on the relationship between scientific inquiry and faith. He did a great job. This lecture is hosted every year by the Office of Mission Identity. And this year we hosted our own professor. The last 3 years of this lecture have all been external people from everywhere from Rome to universities around the country. And this year we were able to have Jason come in. So really excited to have that. Yesterday at Community Hour, we had a thrift and art fair, as well as mass, peace and justice lunch, comedy improv. And today is our day of giving, which we'll talk a lot more about in a little while. But in addition to that, we have the Szczepaniak lecture tonight, and then we have a volleyball match, a really important match against Loyola. And there's an open mic night out at the Embers in Lockport. So as we often say here, nobody should complain about nothing to do, because there is plenty to do on this campus, and we'll get into some more of those activities coming up over the next week in a second. But Chris, glad to be with you again today.
Thank you. Great to be with you. It's definitely a lot going on today that I'm excited about, going back to the Day of Giving celebration at Stritch Hall, as well as the everything you just mentioned. I'm looking forward to. That Bernard Rapp lecture was really incredible. It was really interesting to a lot of different types of audiences. I was certainly intrigued by the kind of philosophy part of it, but also, which is typical of Dr. Kelleher. The students were involved doing experiments on stage, and it all was very compelling and interesting. So we're really grateful for him for that, and for everyone who came. A little bit more about the Szczepaniak lecture. We're really excited that our spring 2026 Kim and Mary Claire Szczepaniak lecture is happening tonight at 6 p.m. in the university dining room. The Szczepaniak lecture brings distinguished voices in humanities and the arts to campus for public conversation and reflection. This time it's distinguished historian Andrew Hartman, who is a professor of history at Illinois State University and the author of the book Karl Marx in America. He will be presenting a lecture titled Culture Wars Then and Now. So we're really excited to hear what he has to say about that important topic. Congratulations to John Ashelou, Assistant Vice President for Athletics, who was named a recipient of the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics. That spells out NACDA, as you can see on the top of the screen there. The 2025-2026 Athletic Director of the Year. Ashelou will be recognized at the annual NACDA and Affiliates Convention in June, where they will highlight the efforts of athletic directors and their contributions to student athletes, to campuses, and to their local communities. Recently, Lewis hosted Chicago Youth Aviation Day, Flying the Legacy Forward, in partnership with the Chicago Department of Aviation, Tuskegee Next, and United Airlines. two great partners to Lewis. The event provided an immersive, hands-on experience for Chicago area teens interested in aviation. Participants had the opportunity to use flight simulators, tour our facilities, some of which are brand new or new this year, and take discovery flights with Tuskegee Next alumni pilots. Very cool. Congratulations to Lewis University's student-run literary journal, Jet Fuel Review, who earned another distinction this spring, the distinguished ranking in the 2025 Recognizing Excellence in Art and Literary Magazines Realm contest, a celebrated honor awarded by the National Council of Teachers of English. Jet Fuel Review is a faculty-advised national literary journal that publishes poetry, fiction, creative nonfiction, and artwork, in addition to book reviews and interviews. And I think they'll have a book launch event still to come in the spring. So a lot going on there. And even though we've talked about some of the events today, there's so much happening more today and through the weekend.
There's a ton going on. So just to bring people up to speed on some of the key events that are going on, this afternoon we have the Sustainability Club, Mosaic Project. We also have an egg hunt that BSU is doing, as you see on there. I love that we're in egg hunt season. It's one of my favorite things. I love to do that with our kids when they were young, but it's fun for 20-year-old kids as well. So they'll enjoy that. The Dr. Leonard Weisenthal Colloquium is also in AS 158 today. And then, as we've already mentioned, the Saponiak Lecture, Loyola, and the Open Mic Night. If you go into tomorrow's a busy day athletically. We have baseball here on campus against Truman. We have the Graduate Toolbox. And that's an opportunity for graduate students to get a sense of, what they might need as they move forward and look for jobs and work in their fields in the Darcy Great Room. That's tomorrow at 3. And then at 6 o'clock in Convocation Hall tomorrow night, the nursing induction ceremony. Saturday, in the flight deck, as you can see on there, we have Mientras Fuertes Unidos Somos Más. That work is going to be, a part of one of the things that we're doing across our campus to try to bring together communities from different parts of our community, as well as serving students who want to be a part of a bilingual kind of work. It's work that we're doing that we're excited about. We also have baseball playing Truman again. And in the stadium, we have lacrosse playing Maryville. That'll be a really important match. The lacrosse is doing well this year. We've had some big wins and then some disappointing losses. There's a tailgate right afterwards, so if you want to come to the match and meet some of the family members and parents of some of the teammates, that's worth doing. Sunday, there's a lot going on as well. Baseball is playing Truman State 3 days in a row. We got Mass on Sunday, and then coming up on Monday, and remember, next week is a shortened week. So we'll be running Monday through Thursday, but because of Easter next week, not only will we not have a show, but things are kind of wrapping up early. So, but there's a ton of stuff that's kind of crunched into next week. So as you see on here, a lot of stuff, Confucianism, and Taoism, China's political and spiritual DNA. We have a do-it-yourself plushie night. I don't know exactly what a plushie is, but I assume it's a little toy that I can take back to my room and have in my room with me. So a lot of stuff going on. We are getting into that time of year where we're having concerts and end of the year celebrations by different departments. So that's happening. Next, we have bingo next week on Tuesday, karaoke next week, as you see on here. We have a film screening, Stranger Than Fiction. So a lot going on. Habitat for Humanity, Crumble fundraiser. I do know, because we're going to talk about this afternoon, that there are also Crumble cookies over at Day of Giving. So when we get to that, we'll talk about that opportunity to come and make a little donation and get a cookie. And then you see next week's community hours just packed with a whole host of things, from the Business Analytics Club meeting, career on how to use the Coursera to help you set up your basically your badges onto your resume, and painting, little library painting. There's just a lot going on. So again, so much happening. We do have some athletic travel events that are going on. So men's and women's track will be at the WashU Invite. Softball will be at Rockhurst, and then softball will extend their weekend, finishing up at Baptist, Southwest Baptist. So just a ton going on campus, excuse me, and a lot going on off campus. So Chris, you're going to introduce our guest. I'm excited about the topic today. We're hoping for a really positive day on campus in terms of our day of giving.
Yeah, I'm really excited to introduce our guest. Before I do, remember that you can email a question to askus@lewisu.edu there on the bottom of the screen. And you can get your question into the conversation live, or if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to continue to ask that question and we'll get the question out to our guest or to whomever can answer it. So this week we are joined by Dr. Kip Kline. Today is our annual Day of Giving. This year's theme is Mission Possible, Operation Lasallian Mission. From scholarships to athletics and research, the program allows donors to choose the cause that matters most to them and see the impact in real time. And as President Livingston said, we're encouraging people to stop by Stritch Hall to make donations, meet our advancement team, and celebrate the Day of Giving with the whole community. So Dr. Kline is Vice President for University Advancement at Lewis University, where he leads fundraising, alumni engagement, and external partnerships in support of the university's mission. Kip's held several senior leadership positions at Lewis before this one, including being a faculty member. Most recently, he served as the Dean of the College of Education and Social Science. So welcome, Kip. I'm so glad you're here.
Great to be here.
So glad it's Day of Giving.
Yeah, excited.
Very excited. But before we get to Day of Giving, tell us, I introduced you as the Vice President for Advancement.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes forget that word is mysterious to people because I've been doing this so long.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about what that means. What is Advancement as a organization, and then what is the work?
Yeah, so at its core, what we do in University Advancement is we cultivate and steward relationships to the ultimate end of the benefit of the university. And those relationships can be, they are mostly external, but they can be with either alumni or other donors. They can be with government officials who represent us in this area, whether it's locally or at the state level or at the federal level. They can be our local businesses whom we want to have a good relationship with. But the ultimate goal, of course, is to benefit the university through those relationships. And while that sounds simple on its face, there's so many complex inner workings that it takes to both cultivate and steward those relationships and maximize them for the benefit of the university. And so we have a whole team of folks who do everything from tracking where those relationships are in our database, to taking notes on them, to processing the fundraising dollars that come in, to communicating with our alumni what's happening on campus so that we can steward those relationships, so on and so forth. And then we have whole teams of folks who just work on our group of donors that give us gifts, from sort of annual gifts at the $1,000 level and below, all the way up to major gifts for folks who give us a considerable amount of money through their gifts. And again, with the government relations piece, we have a wing of our operation that works on that. I get directly involved on that side of things, and also with corporations we have relationships with. That's another part of our team's work.
So Kip, could you just talk a little bit about, and you and I get to spend a lot of time on this. Chris, obviously you and Chris will spend a lot of time in the future on this. But I think for some people and having done this work for a long time, it's a weird job, right?
Yeah.
Because people say, so you go ask people for money, because it's very, I would say it's another thing that for many people, like some people are very afraid of public speaking. Mm-hmm. And many people are very afraid of asking people for money.
Yeah.
I think what people often don't appreciate, and maybe you could talk a little bit about your experience. I know it's something you've done in the past and now you're doing kind of full time. There are people out there who have been very fortunate, have resources, and want to be philanthropic, want to give back to society. And so sometimes it's about not will they give, but will they give to Lewis versus giving
Right.
to the opera or the zoo
Right.
or their synagogue or their church. So could you talk a little bit about, because you've used the word steward, which I'm not sure everybody understands in this context. And then, we do that solicitation.
Yep.
So maybe you talk a little bit about the relationship and what you're actually trying to do as you do fundraising.
Yeah, exactly. So you're right that the ask or the solicitation is one point in a long process, and it repeats itself with certain folks. But the primary thing that we do is we steward these relationships, and so we get to know people, and we get to know who their families are. We get to know their families. We get to understand ultimately what they are passionate about, right? So what we're trying to find out is if you're a person who has means, we want to find something on Lewis University's, Rolodex of things that we do that matches your passion. And so that we can become a location for your philanthropy, because that we do prison education, for example, and you have a real heart for that, and you've got means to contribute to something that you're passionate about. And we want to let people know, hey, you know what, we're doing that. We're doing it really well. This would be a great place for you to support what you're passionate about. So it's finding out, the stewardship process is, in one sense, it's just really having a relationship with people outside of the solicitation. You can't go into it really with the solicitation as, that's the only thing on my mind. You have to, and you know this well, Dave, and Chris, you do as well, but you have to understand that, my primary goal here is nurturing this relationship, getting to know this person. I want to find out what they're passionate about. And at some point, it becomes the primary goal then to turn that relational work into a solicitation. Yeah. But you can't do that successfully if you don't sort of bracket the solicitation for a while, because you have to have the relationship if the solicitation is going to go well, right?
And really it's about matching the passion with things that are happening on
That's right.
Lewis, and
That's right.
making sure that feels right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the different aspects of advancement. I just would encourage people when they go to Stritch Hall today for the Day of Giving, anytime today, just ask people who are there. Many people from advancement are there in the building doing work. They're not doing what they typically do because they're putting on a party, but ask them what their job is and how they contribute to this work as part of the going over there. So it is the Day of Giving.
Yes.
So what is it? What makes this day different from other fundraising efforts throughout the year?
That's a great question. And we really, the Day of Giving is a time, and all organizations have a Day of Giving. And what it's really about is trying to make palpable the sort of collective activity and the collective effort of a community, right? So people give to Lewis University throughout the year in various ways, and we're very thankful for the support. But this one is really about our sort of, in the concentric circles of our community, this is really about the tightest groups, that we come together and we give and we support our mission in a way that we can celebrate as a community, because we're going to see this afternoon just the fruits of our collective effort. And there's this emphasis on our community all rowing in the same direction and raising a significant amount of money for our students.
And so there is you talked about the annual fund. There's an annual fund portion of this that you can give to.
Yep.
But then there's all these other projects. And I feel like, maybe you could talk about the way, because I think part of this, as you said, somebody has to have a passion and a connection. Sometimes that connection is I played this sport here. I was in this club while I was here.
I was a DJ on
I was a DJ on,
WLRA.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
a big one.
So tell me about the conversations that lead to, I think we have about 25 different projects. And then what role does the group that's involved, like let's take the radio. So we want, let's say, $6,000 to continue the work that we're doing on the radio. That's our goal. How do the people that are involved with the radio participate in Day of Giving? Right? That is,
Yeah.
What is that relationship between this hoped for goal and the people that are involved with it?
Yeah, that's a really exciting part of the process, and you can see on your screen now the various projects. It's a little bit less than the number Dave mentioned, but we the folks who we call them champions of each one of these areas that we're raising money for, and those champions are the internal person with the we talked about matching donors' passion with the project. This is when it's internally already happened. So a person in the university community already has a passion for study abroad. And that person puts together all of the communication and the activity and often a team with them to champion that effort for Day of Giving. And then they give us that information in the advancement office. And we put together all of the projects that are requesting funding through Day of Giving. And you can see them on our website. But all of those, each one of those projects, there's somebody on campus, and in most cases, like WLRA, has a whole team of people who are championing that effort. They're getting the word out.
Right.
They're drumming up interest, and they're calling on their friends and folks within the Lewis community to say, this is a great day to give to WLRA. And you can see the number move up as we go.
Yeah. No, I think that back and forth, I think, is really valuable about being able to see that fundraising number go up. So I give, it automatically updates. We had a goal, let's say the goal was 5,000 for this program, and it's at 1,250. I give my $50. It's at 1,300.
Yep.
And that's that relationship, because I think a lot of people, that's beneficial. Like, I can watch my gift matter. I think, and maybe either one of you want to comment on this. These things do matter in terms of making a difference on campus, and it goes to kind of this variety. There's so much variety to the things that happen on campus, and we want to support all of them. But could you talk maybe about the way in which this Day of Giving actually impacts the lives of our students or the lives of our faculty? And we can't go through all of them, as you said, but what are some of the ways in which, because it may not seem like a lot, $5,000, $7,000, $3,000, but why does it matter?
Well, first of all, the total goal for the day is $100,000. So that's the most important number that we want to watch, because then we know, even though it's spread out over a number of projects, that $100,000 is going to make a real difference across different projects across the campus, right? So we'll be watching that $100,000 number, and hopefully we'll see ourselves go past that threshold at some point this afternoon when everybody gathers at Stritch Hall around 2 o'clock for Dave to make an announcement. But I would say, first of all, let's go back to the theme for the day, right? It's called Mission Possible, is the theme for the day. And that, of course, is a clear allusion to a television show, if you're from a certain generation, Dave, or it's also an allusion to a movie franchise if you're everyone else. Or you could be between. So Mission Possible, we think that it's possible to raise $100,000 for projects for our students, and then the subtitle is Operation LaSallian Mission. So really our day of giving, we talked about this before in terms of this is a way for us to see our collective efforts with regard to giving, and but it's also for us a chance for every person who gives, no matter what your ability to give is, you give at that level, you become an agent in this mission possible, in this Operation LaSallian mission, because our philanthropy has a real purpose, right? It's a way that we act out our mission in the world. It's a way that we make real our concern for those on the peripheries, right? There are so many projects that speak directly to that, and then the others speak indirectly to that by providing opportunities and experiences for students who wouldn't otherwise be able to. So that's what it means. All of these projects, again, are either directly or indirectly related to our idea as part of our mission to be concerned about those on the peripheries.
Yeah.
It's helpful to think of all the different things you raise money for at a university. So there's a lot of our bulk of the money that's generously donated to Lewis goes to scholarships. It goes to the our LaSallian fund for students in emergencies. It goes to
Mission
the mission fund. It goes to big projects, building projects, capital projects. So just to go back to your question, Dave, what's fun about this is in the way, I love the way Kip talked about it, is sort of, there are things that are really tangible, that where a smaller amount of money, $10,000, can make an incredible difference in the student experience. And just looking at the list, a lot of the things on the list are allowing colleges to have funds for students to travel, to go to events, or they're working on the station here, or they're things that both the donor, who's the agent in the Mission Possible, can see it like almost right away. Whereas sometimes you're giving, which we absolutely love and want, significant gift that pays for part of a future residence hall or something. You don't see it right away like you do when you're participating in the Day of Giving.
So I want to go to Stritch Hall. We've mentioned that a couple times, right? So kind of I don't know if I would say it's a middle of the day event, but where we kind of try to get everybody in the room at 2.
Yep.
But if people go over there, there's a lot going on.
So
right?
much going on.
So I talked about crumble cookies.
Yeah.
So there's food, but as you see on this picture right here, there are also socks available. And we want to make sure that people are aware that if they go over there, they can get a pair of socks. I think we have somebody maybe in studio that's wearing a pair of these socks.
We do. Let's get a shot of that.
Chris is wearing a pair of the socks. We're excited about that. He's showing them off. But anybody who goes over there and makes any donation of any, so it could be a student, right? There we are with Chris's socks.
Yeah.
They can make a donation of $20.
No.
And they're still going to get a
25.
pair of socks.
25, Dave.
25.
The
pair
socks.
of socks.
The socks cost money.
All right, $25
It is 25 and up.
High quality, comfortable.
High quality,
Chris
comfortable
can
socks.
Fits the flyer socks.
Fits the flyer. Yeah. But if
A lot
you go,
of faculty that are going to come over there. A lot of staff that are going to come over there. And I would just say about this, it is a little bit of a party atmosphere. We have music in the
100%,
background.
Yeah.
And when you talk about this often, it's a time and opportunity. We have a lot of these opportunities, as we talked about, but if you don't see certain people, like I was talking to somebody again the other day who, drives in, goes to their building.
Yeah.
They go to kind of 2 buildings on campus. That's their main way. And they were like, because they were coming over to see me, they were like, I had to look and where Stritch Hall was on the map because I've never been to Stritch Hall.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for people to interact with each other who
Absolutely.
don't. I mean, Chris said earlier, you can ask advancement staff, what do you actually do? That's a great thing. Yeah. But you might also see somebody who you don't often see because they're working in a different part of campus. So take advantage of it.
No, it really is a party atmosphere. Let me just describe some of the things that are going to be going on. In addition to the socks that you can get for a $25 and up.
$24.99. No, $25.
Well, we can negotiate. We also have, for students only, although I have done this several times this morning, we have a wheel. It's a little bit like a Price is Right wheel, a little miniature version of that. You can spin the wheel if you're a student, and you can get a particular prize depending on what the wheel
Could be
lands
a pair
on.
of socks.
Could be a pair of socks. In fact, it is the wheel is. I have to say, of my own experience, it is weighted toward the socks.
Okay.
So, but there are other prizes that are there to be won by spinning the wheel. So students should definitely come over. Crumble cookies, music. It is 100% a party atmosphere. There will be people having fun. You will see somebody you haven't seen in a while, or you will see somebody that you have seen recently, but it's good to see again. We hope that it is a party atmosphere because it will be a celebration.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of food. After Dr. Livingston's announcement at 2, we will have pizza and a cake, a very special cake this year because it is Dave's last Lewis University Day of Giving.
Nice.
That cake has a special message on it for you.
Oh,
I
how
think
nice.
you're gonna, well, I mean, maybe reserve your response to it until you see it, but it's gonna be a great time. So everyone, you should come whenever you feel like it. There's gonna be some kind of food, and we'll change out the food, but there will be these games. You can talk to advancement staff, ask them what they do. That's another great option. You can even just look around because you'll see people doing different things. Take a peek down in the basement. You can see different advancement staff doing different things. You might see them and ask what they're doing, but it will be a party atmosphere. And the reason for that is because not only are we giving today, but we are celebrating our collective efforts at giving.
Yeah.
No, it's a great day. It's a very fun day. As you said, most nonprofits do a day of giving, usually in this month, sometime in this time frame. And it's an opportunity to get everybody excited about philanthropy. And, and it is something I will say about philanthropy. One of the things that I was somewhat surprised by is that it's not as common in other parts of the world. Like the U.S. has a kind of unique relationship to philanthropy. A lot of other parts of the world actually have a kind of a higher base tax base. So they don't think about, I give money to this and I give money to that because I need to support those nonprofits, those cultural areas of the country that I care about. In the United States, we do have that sense of philanthropy. So most people are going to give to something, and that's why we can all celebrate our collective giving, as you say, which I think is really, really great. So.
Yeah, indeed.
So Kip, we're excited to get over there, but before we go, just going back to kind of the big picture, what are some of the things that, when you're thinking about doing the general work of advancement, what are some of the things about Lewis that you personally are excited to talk about and connect people's passions for?
Yeah, I think Lewis is a place where there is a natural connection between what we're doing and people's passions. Dave spoke about this in the context of that comment about what's unique to the United States with regard to philanthropy. People are passionate about giving to a lot of the things that Lewis University does, right? Mm-hmm. And it's because of our mission, it's because of our attention to the folks who are in need of assistance, right? Mm-hmm. So whether that is, no matter what the assistance is, right? Whether that is folks who are incarcerated, who need to have access to an education, but can't do it unless a place like Lewis does all the work that we've done. Yeah. And it costs money, right? Yeah. It costs money for us to do that, and we want to do it the best that we can do it. And we want to be a leader in the state, and then we want to be a leader in the country at providing access to an education for incarcerated people. That's a thing that people are passionate about, right? That's an effort that people can get behind, and Lewis University does that, and we aim to do it well, and we want to continue to do it well. Yeah. We want to provide, and every university does this, right? We want to provide study abroad experiences, right? Yeah. We want to provide study abroad experiences, and because of our student population and our purposeful marketing to first generation students, there are plenty of institutions that are well resourced and that have student populations whose parents can all pay for them to study in the south of France for a semester during their time, because every university understands the value of study abroad. But we have unique needs here at Lewis University. We have a student population, by and large, that isn't going to be able to fund that out of their own pockets. So that is something that people get passionate about. Why shouldn't our students at Lewis University also have these study abroad experiences? So I'm excited about that, where we're going. There's two more things I want to talk about. One is also, it's a Day of Giving project. This is, again, something that is unique to Lewis in the sense that there are not a lot of institutions out there doing this work relative to the entire number of institutions that exist in America, in the United States. And we have a community schools program here that is grant funded. It is, and a community schools program, and I won't go into all of the fine-grained details, but a community schools program is at its core a program where a university or a nonprofit institution sort of brings together other institutions sort of with a local school at the hub. And you can see some of a photo there on the screen of our particular community schools consortium that we run through grant funding from the United States Department of Education. But it is an incredible program that employs people to make sure that school-age kids do not fall through the cracks, and brings all of the resources of the community's social agencies around the table to make sure that doesn't happen. The falling through the cracks doesn't happen. And so the community schools is a fantastic effort. Laura Wilmarth-China is the principal researcher on that project, and she wants to make this program sustainable, right, beyond the grant funding. And we have to do that. Like, we have to fund that. And so that is a great project to get behind today. And I'm excited about the future of it. We have our sort of local government officials in Lockport and in Bolingbrook. I know the team has met with officials in both places in the local government, and we're already seeing some funding coming through from Lockport, and we hope to do the same at Bolingbrook. But that program needs your help to make it sustainable. Yeah.
So part of what you're talking about, and I think Chris and I, we talk about this regularly, is universities are interesting places in the sense that they, of course, focus a lot of their attention on the internal community of the 7,000 students that we serve, right? Yeah. And all the things that they do, from classroom to co-curricular, so club hockey's in here, but also research, specifically related to a lab is in there. But what you're talking about is also, universities are also these places that are catalysts for larger societal things, right? Yes. They partner with other places because they have such rich resources. We have these incredible faculty and staff that are so good at what they do in their specific area, and some of their research is often related to trying to make the world a better place. Most of what they're trying to do is do that. So this partnering with the broader community, with Joliet, with Bolingbrook, with Lockport, in all sorts of ways, and the broader Chicagoland area, I think that's important because, of course, we're raising money for Lewis University, but Lewis University has an impact well beyond our 400 acres, right? It has a huge impact, and so we're raising money for that as well. And I think we need to always, own that. WLRA plays Christmas music at Christmas, right?
That's right.
So that's a service to the whole community because
nationally.
That's right. We get that around the community. So there's just a lot in which we, of course, serve our students, our colleagues, but we also serve the broader community. Yeah,
and what you're talking about, Dave, is also it creates a really productive circle, right? So we have all kinds of talent and intellectual capital that we can share with our community. Part of what we do in advancement, I didn't specifically call this out, but I see our job as also raising the profile of the institution in Will County, in DuPage County and Cook County. We've talked about this ad infinitum. But we are raising the profile of the institution when we lend our talent, intellectual capital, our resources to that community. And we do a lot of that, and a lot of that's represented in the projects in Day of Giving. But the circle then, in my mind, is we're, by sharing our talents with the community and our resources, then that raises our profile with the community, and that community that we want to be in relationship gives back to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's great.
Yeah, it really
Great
is.
work, and thank you for thinking of it that way and doing all that. So thanks for being here with
Yeah.
us today.
Yeah.
We want to get back over to the
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Party.
Kip, for all the work you do. And I just want to say a big shout out to the entire team.
Yeah,
Yes.
So
absolutely.
this really does take a huge team of people.
Yes.
Certainly the advancement team, but there's other people that beyond the advancement team
Absolutely.
that make a day like this possible. So all those champions, I guess I
Yes,
want to point out
yes.
all those champions
Yes.
who have taken on a project that will help our students, help the community. So thank you, Kip, for your work. Thank you. We're at $89,931.
Yeah, we're getting there.
So we're only
Yeah.
10 grand away, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
If anybody
think-
out there wants to just like get on and give us 10 grand,
I think
that would be
I
great.
think Chris is going to do that shortly.
So anyway, thank you everybody. Thank you, Kip, for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thanks everybody in advancement and all the champions. Have a wonderful week. Many blessings to you and all those that you love.